Okay, putting it all together, we're going to be diagramming gerund phrases. So remember we said a gerund ends in ing, but functions as a noun. So let's go ahead and read on the screen. The gerund is placed on a raised step. The upper part represents the noun aspect of the gerund. The lower part represents its verb nature. Gerunds and gerund phrases, except for objects of prepositions, are diagrammed on a pedestal. The complement of a gerund is diagrammed on the bottom step after the gerund. So a pedestal is, let's see if I can get here a little closer. Basically like this, something on legs that's uplifted. Okay, so again, the purpose for diagramming, I'm sure that you guys are thinking about that this week as we really dove into it deeply, is so that you can analyze your sentences, analyze the sentences that are written, so you can make sure that you know. It can help you with writing, and also can help you becoming a better reader. And even if you're trying to dissect some information that you're not sure, when you put it in this visual format, you can see what goes with what and how it kind of fits together. It's just like a visual representation of language, which is usually oral, sometimes written. So anyway, here we go. We have our baseline. Let's say we have, just like the first one, our gerund is a subject, like walking fast is my favorite exercise. Okay, so here's our baseline. We're going to cross because we always have the divider between the subject and the verb. Alright, so I'm going to have my pedestal and chicken feet. And here's the deal about gerunds. They have a lower step, and then they go up, and they have a second step. So the noun part of the verb is walk. And what kind of descends down is the ing. And that shows that it looks like a verb, but it's not really acting like a verb. Walking fast. Walking, maybe we could say the track. Let's do that just for sake of having a complement. Walking what? Walking the track. I can spell it, T-R-A-C-K. Walking the track is, now this is a linking verb, so it's going to lean towards it. My favorite exercise, E-X-E-R-C-I-S-E. All right, that's very similar to this first one. Playing soccer for recreation is good exercise. So the whole gerund phrase is playing soccer for recreation, but it told us in the directions, except for objects and prepositions. So we're not going to diagram those prepositional phrases or their objects. We're just going to diagram the gerund, and if there's a complement. Playing what? Soccer. That whole thing is an action that you're doing, playing soccer, but it's also telling you it's a subject. Playing soccer, the true verb is the word is what? Exercise. We're not going to do these little one-word modifiers. If it was an adjective, it would go under here, but we're keeping it simple. Learn one step at a time. Okay, so here's the next one, predicate nominative. The problem is what? This whole phrase answers the question what. That's why this whole phrase is a predicate nominative. So again, we have our pedestal, goes up, has a step. The noun part of it is meet. The verbal part is the ing, makes it look like, again, a present participle. I'm looking over here because I have it written on the verb, the 4 verb parts. And then meeting the what, the deadline is its complement. Do they have, looks like all of them. Okay. A lot of them have complements. Sometimes they don't. Let's look at it as it's functioning as a direct object. We enjoy watching the play. We enjoyed what? It answers the question what. It's an action verb, enjoyed, so it's a direct object. But because it's this whole phrase, looks like a verb, but acts like a noun, it gets its own special little pedestal. Walk, ing, walk, watching, and then its complement is play. So this is a direct object. Inside of it direct object. Watching the play, watching the what, the play. Enjoy the what, watching the play. A little fun there. And then finally, an object of preposition. We can protect our eyes by, and everything that follows by is the object of this, giving them proper rest. So this one is different. I would definitely have to look at this before I was able to diagram and practice it some. We can protect, subject, verb, protect what? Our eyes. How? By, there is the preposition by what? Giving. And then here are the complements to giving. Giving what? Rest. To whom? To them. So this is the direct object. This is the indirect object of this gerund phrase. And whenever you have a prepositional phrase, it has the line underneath, and the next line that extends out is the preposition. This one is very complex. I will give you that. You will not have very many that look like this one, but you know you've seen it, you know it's been explained before, so you know you can go back to this if you need to see this pattern. I'm pretty sure that you won't have this on a test where you have to just do it all. You might have to remember how it's set up, so I do recommend you practice. Let's go over it one more time. We can protect what? Our eyes, and then here's your prepositional phrase. We is the subject. You have your baseline, subject, verb, direct object. And then we're going to diagram our prepositional phrase, which includes gerund, by giving what? Rest. To whom? To them. So it's really putting all the steps together. It kind of reminds me of an algebra problem where you have so many layers. Okay, and then finally, let's look at appositives. Look how they're getting longer and longer. Persistence and dedication were required for reaching the goal. What was the goal? The appositive tells us the goal. Now there's not commas on both sides because it comes at the end, but it is set off by a comma. The goal is doing well in Spanish. Remember, with an appositive, you can stop right after the noun that it's explaining and you don't need it. Appositives are not needed. They're just extra information. Most of the time, non-essential. Every once in a while you need it for clarity, but for the most part, it's non-essential. Okay, so let's look at this. This is compound subject, persistence, dedication. So we have that here. Then we have our dividing line. The verb phrase, were required. Requires an action verb. Were is just the helper that tells the tense. Then required for what? For reaching the what? The goal. And then we have this is an appositive, but it's also a gerund. So it's on a pedestal, but it's in parentheses because all appositives are diagrammed in parentheses. If you remember some of the pages before, like King Herod was in parentheses. Well, this appositive is the parentheses, but it's on a pedestal because it's also a gerund. But this gerund doesn't have a complement like the rest of them do, because well is how. So if it's answering the question how, it's not a complement. It's more like an adverb or an adjective. So anyway, that was a lot. So I really want you to practice these because they are challenging. I will give you that. So on this page, there's only 9. On a separate sheet of paper, diagram the sentences. You may omit ordinary phrases, prepositional phrases, and single word modifiers. So just like all the examples, you don't have to do all of the extra modifying words. Caroline fed the horses by holding the carrot in the palm of her hand. So Caroline did what? She fed the what? Horse. How? So this by holding is going to come off of fed. How did she feed it? By holding the carrot in the palm of her hand. You're going to need to diagram by, holding, and carrot. The rest of those are prepositional phrases, so you don't need to use those. All right, so this was kind of a lot. So I want you to take your time, and I want you to do this well. And go ahead and practice all 9 because this really will help you with diagramming. If you could do these, I'm pretty sure you can do any of them.